United 2, Leicester City 1. The stats say it, don't they? It was a pretty even contest overall. But in the end, it's United who take all 3 points. Now then, this is what Jose Mourinho had to say after the win. We played well in periods against a good team that invest more than us. We must get used to teams who have players of the same quality that we have. Every team is a good team. Forget the teams, forget the history, forget the shirts. It's quite a statement from Mourinho, and I suppose if you look at it just in black and white, he's got a point. Leicester City have indeed.
He's got a point. Leicester brought more players in and
they spent more money than United.
When you're numerically bringing, double or more the amount of players in, you're going to spend more money. Let me tell you something. Not one of those players in that Leicester list, Man United would be in for to buy, right? And that's not because they're not decent players, but they're not deemed good enough to go and play at Manchester United and improve them. James Maddison comes in from Norwich and he's a very good player, had a good game. This is just more nonsense. Look, let's get to the game first. A win's a win, I understand that. Yep. But it was very much the same old from Man United. It was pretty boring. Great to see Luke Shaw. I think he's a good player, but great to see him playing with some confidence, getting forward, getting a goal and looking fit. This guy has been absolutely battered from pillar to post. Some of it may be of his doing, I'm not sure. What I do know is a lot of it is the manager's doing because he's publicly flogged him. This is a guy who has injury problems, and let's not forget, in Europe, in Holland, he had a really bad break of the leg. That's not easy for any player to come back from. So that was good to see. Pogba was pretty good, but can do more. But it was a laboured United performance, and I suppose that's what we're going to see for the rest of the season. They get a goal, they sit back, and they let Leicester dominate them, and then they get the second goal. I expect them to win the game. Kind of hope they would play a little bit more open, but maybe I'm just getting stupid in my old age.
What about this rhetoric, Shaq? The fact that basically all the teams now have got the same quality as Manchester United. Forget the name on the shirt, forget the badge.
I think it's ridiculous. It's, again, for me, a thinly veiled attack on Woodward that's continued all summer long. Now, let's keep in mind that Leicester lost arguably their best player to another Manchester club this summer, and they had to replenish. Let's also try to remember that these are 2 teams, one at home that finished second last season, the other finished 9th. The gap between Manchester United and Leicester is immense and should be. And as good as Leicester were on the day, Manchester United at home should make very easy work of this. And it's almost a curse that United get an early goal. Because they get an early goal and you know what to expect at that point, they sit back, they soak up pressure, some will interpret it as parking the bus. This is a total contrast to the United teams that I know, that I played against. You could not go to Old Trafford and in a month of Sundays hope to dominate possession. Maybe the result is the same, but this is a very different United than anybody's come to expect. Hence Mourinho talking about let's forget about history. I'm not so sure that all United fans are buying let's forget about history.
Well, some of them are saying, well, a win's a win and that's it, and, the usual sort of scenario. But listen, at the end of the day, this Mourinho rhetoric it's been wearing thin for a long while.
It is.
But why has he got to start the season these attacks on Ed Woodward, right? It is what it is now, right? If he's going to fight Ed Woodward and the board, there's only going to be one winner, and it's not him. So I don't know why he keeps doing it. The other side of the coin is were Leicester trying to bring in Juventus' best player, Paul Pogba? No, they were not. Did Leicester go out and smash wage structures for Alexis Sanchez, Arsenal's best player? No, they didn't. Did Leicester go out and buy Everton's best player and the Belgium #1 striker? No, they didn't. The list goes on. The bottom line here is Leicester were organised. Leicester left out their best player for this game, by the way, which is another story, Jamie Vardy. And I'd like to hear the excuse from Claude Puel is if he's injured or not, because it certainly can't be down to playing at the World Cup, because his backside was on the bench for the most of the World Cup. So why would you leave your best player on the bench at Old Trafford? That's another one Leicester fans may be asking. But as for Mourinho, we're going to be having the same discussion, Dan, and I don't think this is a big surprise. Most weeks, United are going to win most weeks. They're going to be in the top 4. I think they'll be around 3rd or 2nd place, but we're going to be having the same discussion. The football is turgid. And for the players they've got, it can be better.
You talk about the Charity Shield. We saw that, didn't we? City, without some big names, still stacked. You take a look at their potential 11, and it's just quality all over the pitch, and just seem to be continuing that hunger and desire that we saw them end last season.
Yeah, young Foden came in and played really well. Look at the bench. If that is the team, you know, we're thinking Mahrez would play. I mean, I think Sterling, if he doesn't get a lot of game time this season, could be really disappointed. And Bernardo Silva looked as if he was going to be the one that might miss out, but we really don't know. I mean, there is so many players there when you look at that bench at the bottom that he could juggle that 1 to 11 with any of those, and it wouldn't really weaken the team that much. So I would be surprised if Sané is not playing ahead of Silva. I would be surprised if Sterling doesn't play. But listen, that's what Pep's got at his disposal, and it is. Going forward, it is pretty mouth-watering.
And this is a dream, I imagine, as a coach, and indeed it keeps your players on the toes as well, in the sense that you know, if you put in one bad performance, that you're going to get the hook.
And without question, and relatively quiet by their standards in the transfer window, just bringing in Mahrez, but Mendy coming back in, answers the squad. And you just have to look at the bench, look at competition for places. When he makes changes in Charity Shield, look at how well that team performs. And that's exactly what you want. You want players who know that they have to perform week in, week out if they do want to get selected. Nobody epitomized that better than Sergio Aguero. Many thought he'd be out the door, can't stop scoring. And now Gabriel Jesus, when he's given an opportunity, has to match. And that's how you want it everywhere along the path.
City are favourites going into the clash at the Emirates. Arsenal coming in at 3-1, 14-5 the draw. It really is a bit of a baptism of fire, isn't it, for Unai Emery, Craig?
I suppose a couple of ways looking at it, get that game out of the way early and then move on, because City looked great in the Community Shield against Chelsea. It could have been 4 or 5, and that was with a weakened team. I know Chelsea left some players out as well. There's been some activity for Arsenal. Torreira coming in obviously gives them a boost in midfield. I think if Nzonzi had been signed, that would have been a huge bonus, but that didn't happen. I know Emery wanted him. But Mustafi and Socrates is a pairing at the back, if that's what it is. It's very experienced, but I don't... It's not filling me fully confidence. That back four, if that back four keeps a clean sheet against this Man City side, I'll be shocked. That's all I'm saying. I think they will get goals this season against other teams. I think they can have a good season, but I'd be surprised if they're going to be a match for this Manchester City side, even at home on match day 1.
You go into this expecting Arsenal to lose, and anything else is a bonus, pretty much.
Yeah, without question, especially when you consider how good City were to start last season, how good they were in the Community Shield against Chelsea, as Craig mentioned. And this is a new-look Arsenal. New manager coming in, trying to find out as much as he can about the squad, where they have to go. It's a good yardstick against a team that dominated last season. I don't see Arsenal getting an awful lot, but Unai Emery certainly learns a lot about his squad and what's needed and how best they can play.
Welcome to Extra Time. The Premier League, of course, back today. United taking on Leicester.
You nearly forgot.
United won.
United won, and it was pretty boring.
But they got 3 points. They got the job done.
As it said on the tin.
Did you have any United players in your Premier League?
Yes.
Did you have?
I think I had... I certainly had Marcus Rashford.
Right.
That was good.
Sandwich in between Kane and Aguero.
Oh.
I'm not sure how many others I have.
Oh.
I couldn't afford them.
Jackie, you done fantasy this year?
Nobody invited me.
Oh, come on.
Did Rusinol not invite you?
Were you not on Tony's email? Wow, Shaq.
What he liked you as well.
Why are Barca trying to sign Pogba? Is he actually good enough to get into Barca's first team? If his relationship with Mo is the reason he wants to leave, why not stay when there's a chance the manager will just get sacked? He's not a Barca, is he?
I don't think so.
No, he's captain.
Would he get
today.
I was not going to leave, no.
What do you think of his penalty today?
Would he get in Barcelona's team?
It was Zaza-esque.
It was a bit Zaza-esque, wasn't it?
Zaza light. He didn't have the high knee lift. I think Pogba will get into Barca's team. Don't ask me for who, but I just think,
Well,
yeah.
Isn't that my job?
No.
No.
No, just read the questions. That's extra time job.
Absolutely get in their team.
Would that put you off as a goalkeeper if he did that as his run-up?
No.
What was your tactic, Shaq, for penalties?
I just used to pick the ball out the back of the net.
Good. Was Alexis Sanchez a really good signing for Manchester United?
No, that is a good question, because last year it looked like he was unsure where he was going to get the best out of him. Mm-hmm. And thus he was... Hence he was... Some of the games we just didn't see the Sanchez we saw at Arsenal. So I think the question will be down the road when we see more games this season, because he certainly didn't look like the guy that come up from North London.
It's a very serious answer for extra time.
It's a serious question.
Well, I think it is a good question, actually, because we get lots of not very good questions. And I think it is a question. I mean, are we going to see the best of Alexis Sanchez? Can he find the right position?
Do you think we will, yes or no?
I think we'll see a better version than we did when he moved, but I'm not sure we're going to see the version that we saw at Arsenal.
What does... Were you going to answer, Sean?
No, not anymore.
What does Eric Bailly need
Like fantasy team, you just totally ignored me again.
What does Eric Bailly need to do this season to be considered a top-class defender?
Defend really well.
Yeah.
Stay fit.
Perfect.
No, he needs to stay fit. If he stays fit, then I think he could have an excellent season. I mean, this is way too serious.
I was about to say, this is the most serious extra time Craig Bailey I've ever seen.
Why does Steve Nicol have trouble getting his words out when he's upset?
Because he's not. When he's what?
When he's upset.
And he's very easy to upset as well, isn't he? Up to the time I did that.
Yeah, that upsets.
When he fell out with you,
yeah,
because he thought you were trying to stitch him up on a live show.
Yes.
And he couldn't think. He's got very angry, and he started shouting at you when we were in the break, and I started. Obviously, wound the situation up a bit.
Oh dear.
When he does that.
Yeah, then he'll say. Shaka, you don't have any problems getting your words out. You get many words out sometimes.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
That's funny when Shaq.
Those ideas, those words don't make sense next to each other.
Just not now, Gab. Just not now.
Not today, Gab.
Not today, laddie, not today.
Oh,
That was an iffy moment on my part.
that was brilliant.
No, it wasn't.
lasted
It
a few
was iffy. It was
days.
iffy. It was iffy.
It was fine, Shaq. You didn't do anything naughty.
No, I didn't do anything naughty. I didn't say I did anything naughty.
No, exactly, but...
Where is
don't be
Gab?
harder.
On holiday?
He's on holiday.
Where'd they go?
He
didn't go to Germany, did he?
Tenerife, I think.
Did he go to Germany?
No, I don't think... Ali's gone to
They had been
Germany.
Tenerife.
I think Ali's
I just
in
get
Tenerife.
visions of Ali going around Germany on a train where he's looking at historical... I mean, Germany's a lovely country. I've been there.
What do you want him to do when he goes to Germany?
Well, I'm not... I'm
what
just...
do you want him to do?
I'm just surprised that he selected Germany. I mean, maybe it just means...
That's very Mourinho-esque in your praise of Germany there. Germany's a lovely country,
It
but
is.
who on earth would go around Germany in a train?
I don't know if they're going on it. Where have you got a train from?
I don't know.
That's the vision of choo-choo.
Because of
Let's get today Dresden, tomorrow
They're
Frankfurt.
fast, the trains in Germany, aren't they? They're not choo-choo jobs. They go very
Germany's
fast.
lovely. It's
You
just-
go on the
it's not-
Reaper Bahn? No, not the Reaper Bahn. No, I'm thinking of
Autobahn.
something of
The Autobahn, that's trains don't go on there.
The Reaper Bahn is a dodgy place in Hamburg that I went.
I have been to Hamburg,
Anyway,
and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wow. Oh,
I
wow.
was filming a pilot there for a
Anyway,
show
that's
back
where he
in the
is.
day.
So where's Gab?
Where is... We need extra time for our extra time now.
I can't take this extra time. You've got to be way more serious.
They didn't commission the show.
Wait, what show?
The one that I was filming on the Reaper Bahn. I did a pilot for Channel 5 back in the day.
I've no idea what you're talking about. The Reaper Band, what's that? I'll need to look it up.
Who wins the PGA Championship?
Oh, sorry, I've gone for Molinari again.
Okay, we'll see 5 shots off at the moment as we're...
I don't know, because I'm in here doing the show.
Right. Jack, who do you think is going to win?
Won't be me, that's all I know.
Well, yes.
Shaq ever told you about the time he took a lot of shots to get over water at a par 3?
Was this the 22 shots?
At least.
Don't worry.
I don't recall.
I'm sure I've had 22 putts.
I don't recall such an occurrence.
Craig does.
Well, I don't know. He ended up having to use my balls because he ran out.
I think that's it. You're back tomorrow, aren't you? Are you working all weekend, Craig?
Yeah, and good news is, because I know you boys hate me working on a Sunday, I'm working on a Sunday this week.
Why are you doing that?
So you can stick your highlights
working
where the sun
Sunday?
doesn't shine.
Because Stevie's away, isn't he?
Is he?
Anyway.
I'll not be doing any highlights.
Oh, that's it.
Oh,
Craig's
well,
back.
that was... Turn off the lights.
So Craig is here all weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Join us.
Yeah.
Highlights
And I'm going to
galore.
moan like hell.
So many highlights.